It is 7:03, and notice is hereby given pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act that the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas will conduct a regular meeting on Monday, April 13th, 2026, at 7 p.m., location here at City Hall, Council Chambers, 1800 Space Park Drive, Suite 200, Nassau Bay, Texas. We've been called to order. We have a quorum. In fact, we have all council members present and accounted for. And would like to move to invite Father Wenzel to lead us in an invocation, and I'll turn it over to you, Father. No, I'm very pleased today that St. Paul, for however reason the stars aligned it, or as I like to say, the man upstairs is, I think many people know we lost Betty Johnson here recently, and it was a very strong person for the Catholic Church, and I'm really glad you're here to give the invocation tonight.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Would you please stand? With hearts filled with gratitude and resounding with Easter joy, we turn to you, Lord God of us all, as we make our prayer. Lord, as a sign of your love and mercy for all of us who call Nassau Bay home, you call together this city council who has been elected to represent us, who is charged to hear us and to speak for us. Lord, may the work of our mayor and our city council be reflections of your all-giving and self-sacrificing love and mercy. We ask your blessing, Lord, on each one here tonight and on all employees and volunteers of the city of Nassau Bay. We ask as well that you receive Betty Johnson into your eternal glory and to give her family and friends the peace and comfort they seek. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. Alleluia.
Thank you, Father.
You're very welcome. God bless everybody.
The next is Scouts Troop 595, which is the boy troop, as well as Troop 596, the girl troops, are going to present our colors here tonight. I'll turn it over to them. Lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color guard attention, audience attention. Color guard, forward march. Scout salute. Those not in uniform, please place your right hand over your heart. Color guard halt. Prepare to post the colors. Color guard, post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. 2. Color guard reform. Color guard, about face. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Color guard at ease, audience at ease.
Could I thank you guys to all come up for a picture, please? And I would love if you would give a little background on 595 and 596.
Yes, sir. All right,
Come on up. Parents too, or other people in the group. Please, come on up. Come on up.
So, this is Troop 595. We at 596. We made at St. Bernadette's Catholic Church in Clear Lake, Texas. Yeah. So the troop will be around for how long? Since 42 years, yeah. And how long has the girl been around? Eight years? Yes. So, right now, we're coming out here, we're working on a merit badge requirement right now, which is to observe the city council meeting and talk about some of the issues discussed with the merit badge council. That's what we're doing here right now, so yeah. You want merit badge? It is for citizenship of the community.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We very much appreciate you guys coming in here because it brightens up our whole council meeting. So thank you for you being here, and we really appreciate it. Whoops. All right. Next on the agenda is the appointments, proclamation, and presentations. The first is an employee recognition for Chris DeFrancis for 32 years of service with the city as a supervisor over the water and sewer power plant operations and distribution system.
Here, I'll take this one.
You got that?
Yeah, Chris is actually enjoying his vacation right now, unable to, and retirement, unable to be with us, but we wanted to recognize him, got him a nice plaque, and 32 years, Chris is doing an excellent job of everything with the water and wastewater, so every time you turn on the tap, you know, that was Chris and his guys, so we just wanted to recognize him and wish him a great retirement. It's always great when someone retires with good health and able to enjoy it.
Thanks, Paul. Next is employee recognition and introduction to the Nassau Bay Police Department, our newest officer, Ricky Arellano.
Ariano, yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor and Council. If I can have Officer Ariano come forward, please. I'd like to introduce Ricky Ariano. We hired Ricky and swore him in on March the 3rd. Ricky comes to us from Galveston County Sheriff's Department with 10 years experience. He's experienced as a correction officer, bailiff, and school resource officer. He's worked in all three of those divisions for Galveston County. He has an associate's degree in criminal justice through College of the Mainland. He's certified by the state of Texas, TCOL, as an advanced peace officer, master jailer, mental health officer, a field training officer, and a TCOL instructor. Ricky has 1,260 hours of in-service training. So we'd like to welcome Ricky to the department. Good to have you. Very good. Thank you.
He's going to work now because he's on night shift. That's all right. Thank you for coming.
Good resume.
Next on the agenda is the citizen comments and public hearing portion. This is for citizens to be able to speak up and provide any type of comments for council. You know the drill, Mr. Stowe.
Jim Stowa, live at 18315 Hereford, Nassau Bay, been here, citizen about 45 years. So I'm going to give the same presentation I gave to the Marine Safety Committee last week. So one of the things is we're trying to do is figure out a way to keep the waterways safe. I mean, I go to the dog park every night and just was there a while ago. I mean, people come around those corners like 60 miles, 40 miles an hour. I mean, just terrible stuff. So one of the things we're talking about the maritime meeting was how we control the waterways and try to get the things back in shape. So one of the problems we have is the lack of buoys and markers. It's not a hard thing to do. Paul Lopez did that when we did the recent cleanup. He got some banners and flag banners, I guess they're called, and put them out, which kind of help make people aware, because some people come down the waterways, they're not aware about the blind bends. I mean, they're not aware of it. So how we fix that, I don't know. So going back to the history, trying to use AI, I found a couple of things that happened, kind of interesting. 2003, somebody in Nassau Bay got killed by the Hilton. 2005, 25, 3 incidents happened. One that, thank God, that the Nassau Bay Fire Department was out there, retrieved the body out of the water, and later retrieved somebody that was on cocaine out of Clear Creek. And in 2025, a boat ended up in David Braun Park, about 8,000-pound boat inside the park. So I think that making public awareness is a big part of it. The other thing I just had to mention, like I did to the stark reality, is 2019, our neighbor former city manager, was killed on Galveston Bay. What happened was a boat came up behind him, didn't know about it, tossed him in the water. He was not wearing a life jacket, so Chris Reed died. And, public awareness. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Anybody else? Any more it's a little
My name's Rebecca Cadle, Becky, and I live at 18579 Martinique Drive. I just want to say thank you so much to the mayor and various members of the city council and to Margaritaville for putting on a fabulous launch party and a subsequent splashdown party 10 days later. It was a wonderful event, and I think everyone that showed up there really enjoyed it. And so thank you so much for putting on that activity, and hopefully we'll have many more down there at Margaritaville.
I'm hoping everyone. Thank you. Anybody else? This is the time for public comments. Going once? Going twice? 3 times? The comment section is closed. It's 7:14. Moving on to council member comments. Lucy.
All right, we went back to the moon. Yeah. Pretty exciting times, not only for this neighborhood, but for NASA. And as someone who works at NASA, just to see this community pull together and be excited for it too is really special. So thank you to everybody for that. I love seeing the excitement around Artemis too, and obviously very special to me and to my family. So thank you for that. Beautification Day was a lot of fun this year. I had my daughter out there, and it was the perfect like Nassau Bay Day where she was like, okay, we went to sign up and there's nothing at Founders Park, but it's her favorite park, so we went there anyway. She was cold because it was cold that day, but I ended up running into my aunt randomly, and I'm like, man, this is so Nassau Bay. My aunt lives in Switzerland but was in town, so Beautification Day was very Nassau Bay for me. So thank you for everyone who participated in that. That was really good. The next thing coming up that's really important for this community is Not a Cat season, and before our next meeting, Not a Cat season will have started, so it starts at the end of this month. So just please be cautious around the pool, especially on Cape Bahamas, where there's usually a lot of cars on the street and kids on bikes. So that'll start after school in May, and then they'll be out and about in the mornings in June, so watch out for them. I know you're going to give an update on what's going on with the water lines and the fiber and all that, but I just want to say if that happens in front of your house and they put sod down, don't forget to water it. So I don't know if anyone's going around and reminding people, but sod needs to be watered. You can't just let it come down. So spread the word there's a lot of beautiful sod going down, obviously some that still needs to go down, but don't forget to water your sod. And Officer, was it Ariano? Because he did have a nice resume, so I'm excited that we have him on board. So thank you. That's it.
Hey, good evening. So I did bring a list this time. Some feedback, some good comments. First of all, I want to say thanks for the comm in the newsletter about the sales tax vote and the fact that we got a vote coming up. So I think this is helpful because I know we were getting questions out there, and I'm really stressing, and I know Paul's heard me a couple times just communicating so everybody else kind of knows what's going on out there. So this is something we would like to see passed. It's something good for the neighborhood. I think we're going to talk later about some of the procedures, but just remind folks, all the volunteer appointments for the boards and committees, the deadline for applying is May 31st. So again, I know we're going to hit some of the procedural pieces of that later. I just want to remind folks about that. And thank you for Maria. She's been kind of updating the website and trying to make it a little easier to go find the applications and things like that. So appreciate that. I got a question for Paul about, in his notes, it talks about painting the water tower by May 1st. Is that still going to happen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm impressed. And then, let's see, just make sure I don't get out. Yeah, so my last comment, I'll be careful here. I'll just say personally, I was, how do I put this? I would like to have seen Artemis signage, I'll say, on Nassau Parkway and not advertisement for Margaritaville personally. And so I didn't really understand why, this community had that signage up, at least during the mission. And so I'll just vent my opinion that I'd like to see that the next time, that it wasn't, to me, an opportunity to advertise Margaritaville. We can do that other times of the year or whatever. So I don't know if others have the same feeling, but to me, that was a huge mission. And, we're celebrating space all over the neighborhood. I just thought that was a good opportunity. If we had that type of signage available, I think we should have put that up. That's it.
There's a reason, I'll say that.
Okay.
I guess I would have the opposite reaction to that signage. I thought it was nice. One of the main reasons, and it's just my 2 cents on it, one of the main reasons why I moved to Nassau Bay was because of the space history. So for me, incorporating Nassau Bay and the space program together to where it looked like a logo that was incorporating both was nice, in my opinion. And then also to kind of tack onto that, the launch party was awesome. That was such a cool experience. Growing up, you would see people gather around a TV. I mean, obviously I wasn't old enough when the first launches took place, but looking back at photos and getting to experience that in my own life was very nice. And I think Phil had mentioned it to me. He was like, I thought maybe 100 people might show up. And if you weren't there was probably like 300 people at that launch party. So I didn't get to come to the one that was the splashdown, but the launch party was really cool and unique, and something I got to bring my daughter to. So I'm hoping it's something that she remembers. And I know we've got a lot of missions coming up, so I think that we're going to be able to continue to do that. But it's just nice to see the community come together and incorporate a lot of the NASA things as well. And I think that also, as you drive down NASA Road 1, you'll start to see those TX dot boxes. So we've had those painted to where they represent, our ties to not necessarily Artemis specifically, but to the NASA program, to the history. So as you go down, you'll see the Apollo missions, you'll see the shuttle missions, you'll see the Artemis stuff as well. So I think it's a nice way to kind of incorporate that and then kind of get rid of those nasty big metal boxes. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Okay, so my husband also worked Artemis. It was a very beautiful journey, beautiful launch, beautiful landing. All went so well, almost to the point you don't want to say it, so I'll knock on wood. I didn't go to the launch parties, although I did see videos. That was a very personal choice of mine, to do that at home with my children, knowing their dad was working that, and it was a very special moment that I held with them in my living room. Super, super proud of that mission. I do love the painting on the boxes. The one by Buc-ee's looks amazing, and I think Parks Committee tells us they do the one facing when we're leaving to apply to us, and then the other side looks different, so I appreciate that. And that's really all I have. Thank you.
I'm not going to reiterate what everyone's already said, but, I've noticed those boxes now, the painted box. It's like you really notice them now that they're painted. And I had one resident, who will remain nameless, tell me, can you guys straighten the boxes? Now, every time okay, because I was like, I guess I'm noticing it too now that it's painted. It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So anyways, we're gonna work on it. Right? I mean, they're just more noticeable now. Welcome back, Kirk Clausen. It's like your first day back and you get thrown into a city council meeting. So dropped in the fire. So happy to have a new police officer. Always good to have extra hands on deck. I had the pleasure of talking to the Young Men's Service League at LSA 2 Sundays ago about civic responsibility, so kind of what you guys are earning your patch on, right? About being a city council member and volunteering for your city, and also criminal liability. So it was kind of my forte too, and so I use it as an opportunity to talk about the importance of volunteering for your city, but also all the ways you can get in trouble and how you should avoid it, because I'm a former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney. So that was a great talk, and it was really, I tried to show off for Nassau Bay while I'm that department. Yes, Not a Cat's the pool's still cold. I don't know how my kids are going to jump in there, but I guess it's starting, whether we're ready for it or not. And also, you guys might have noticed that today a lot of linemen were working along Upper Bay Road. I'm sure the mayor is going to touch on this, and so is Paul. But they're clearly doing a lot of work with power lines near the park. So that's exciting news. And of course, everyone's yards are getting dug up. Mine is no exception if you drive by my house. And so just have to be patient with that stuff. And if you're wondering, most of the guys know what they're doing. You know, like if they're doing water lines or fiber, you can ask them and say, which one are you doing in my yard? So lots of spray paint on all over the grounds. Just be patient. It's a part of the infrastructure improvement, and we'll all be super happy when it's done. And I'm really hoping they're going to cover my dirt patch with sod soon.
They will. They did mine today.
Okay.
Just make sure that they put live sod in, right?
No, it was
As
nice
much
and
as you
green
want
today.
it, there was some dead stuff that went around and stuff.
Again, I won't repeat what most everyone has said, but my apologies for missing the last meeting. I just had life happening, and I'll say that. Thanks to all the volunteers that came out for Beautification Day, Keep Nassau Bay Beautiful, the Parks and Rec Committee, Public Works also for coming out. It was a great day, and yes, it was cold, but had a lot of fun with the kids and seeing them get service hours. The utility boxes are looking great. I think they're so cute. I notice them every time pull out of the city. They're great. The Nassau Bay app, I know I haven't touched on that in a while, but we will have sponsorships coming for the summer, so look out in the newsletter for more information on that coming out. And I know Father Wenzel touched on this and the mayor, but I just want to take another moment of silence to honor one of Nassau Bay's long-term residents, Betty Proby Johnson, who passed away recently about a month ago. For those that knew Betty, she was instrumental and a pillar in the Nassau Bay community. Don and Betty moved here to Nassau Bay in 1976, where they spent the next 42 years serving in many volunteer capacities, including at St. Paul's Catholic Church, the Volunteer Fire Department, the EMS. They had the ambulance out there. I feel like it was 24/7 parked in front of their house on Carriage Lane. Betty also served on City Council for 8 years, her last 2 serving as Mayor Pro Tem, and the list goes on. I also learned recently by reading her obituary that she taught preschool here at Gloria Day in Nassau Bay, prior to her serving as a teacher at McWhorter Elementary for decades, where she earned many accolades. She will be dearly missed, and her services will be held this Saturday, April 18th at 11 a.m. at St. Paul's Catholic Church, and I invite as many of you as possible who knew Betty and were touched by her to please join us in her celebration of life. And with that, I'll just take a moment of silence. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Ashley. I just want to build off that. Betty was a very special person. I won't go into the professional side. I want to go into the personal side. Betty, as well as Don, would always do everything for anybody. They were some of the hardest working but most pleasurable in trying to help out. They were about as service oriented as can be. And just pick your professional topic. They were there. They were at our wedding. They helped welcome in Kathy and I to marriage, and they were very helpful in many ways. And believe it or not, with Betty, she actually helped our son overcome some learning disabilities that not only did he overcome, but he really exceeded and surpassed anything we ever thought. So she's a really, really special person who, at the end of the day, a lot of people help, but she was one of those people who cared. And that always matters when you care. And I will miss her, and I miss them every time. On the Margaritaville and the launch party, I couldn't have been more proud as mayor. We had a count where it was over 350 people. I think the drink count was at 317, so I thought it was going to be about 150, but it was a little bit higher. But what I was even happier is the splash party was almost, I heard, was just similar. It was just a little bit less, but it was still over 300, between 300 and 350. I appreciate your comment, Brian, but I would have to say is it wasn't because of a lack of trying. I want to give credit to Joyce Abbey and city staff. They had worked with Lockheed. The intent was to have banners recognizing Margaritaville's sponsoring of a patch and the spacesuit that will be for Artemis, I believe, and to give them recognition for that. And there was supposed to be Lockheed that was developing banners to welcome them back. Problem was Lockheed couldn't turn it around fast enough. We were all prepared to put them up in order to do welcome back, but we didn't get them. So it wasn't because there was an intent not to welcome back. It was just it didn't get turned around by the people who really wanted to do it. So that's what happened. So a lot of good intention and a lot of good work by people that I don't want to have go unrecognized. The other things here, I'll say some of the stuff, but really pleased with Beautification Day. I think the city just looks great, and every time we do that, we tighten up. And the Easter in the Park, don't forget we had the same thing, and it was a great turnout. I couldn't be there, but I had pictures taken of all the eggs that got taken and picked up. It was done in less than 2 minutes. It was unbelievable. It was just done. And one of the two last things I'll say, one is we mentioned about, the Nauticats and being careful there is I want to start putting out people that June 1st is coming up soon. That's hurricane season. Have a plan. It takes longer than just a couple of days to put a plan together. Know where you're going to evacuate in case it comes through here. We've had a couple of storms that have really hit us pretty hard, Ike being the biggest one. But just remember that there's a reason to have a plan, and it's all about safety. The last, I want to give another shout out to Jaime and his team. I think we may mention this, but it's really playing out, and it'll be even an agenda item here, that the city was able to renew their AA plus, Standard & Poor's rating. Even with the things with the support that we're doing in Margaritaville, even with the support of a ladder truck and a pumper truck and things along that line, it was all incorporated, and our management of that was one that they still recognized as being just under our federal government. So we're top in the class there. I actually think we're better than the federal government, but that's just me. In any event, I'll move on to the reports from the committees. Paul, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just touch on the quick projects. Won't steal too much of Elias's thunder, but the three big projects are going very well. 2.7 miles of new water lines have been installed. The water tower project painting is on track for May 1st. The Frontier Fiber project, the 7G, at the end of this month, and everything looks really good in it. It's only a little quadrant in the city that's left. We are trying to work on some maps. It's just working with the contractors, trying to get what's done. What's left is something hard for us to just try to get coordinated. But this last month has been really busy. You've been noticing the Public Works crews working on weekends to catch up with everything. And then one employee, Robert Benuela, if you want to stand up, he's been getting beat up pretty good this last month. So all the complaints have been going to Robert. And then he's, assisting Elias, Elias assisting me. So it's a big team effort. Everything is going really well. And on top of that, we got the new Centerpoint project that just kicked off this morning. I actually signed the agreement Thursday, had it hand delivered, and then they started this morning. There will be 4 areas in the city. It's about a $2 million project, zero cost to the residents, something I've been working on for about almost 3 years. Really happy for that. And you'll see some temporary poles put in David Braun Park for about 4 months, but this is going to allow these areas to be switched over 1 or 2 times instead of 10 times per area. So it's just bypassing. So really excited on that. We've made really good progress in the new state-of-the-art live stream system. We're hoping to have that installed here maybe by July, fingers crossed. But we've been real impressed. Me, Maria, Jaime, Tom, we've taken trips. We're looking at some really nice stuff. Kirk Clausen, mind standing up, Kirk? He was with us for 4 years as a park supervisor, and he's back. For really excited. No transition. We just got him in the fire this morning, and we're really happy for that. Mentioned the Garden Club Flower Show on April 25th. Along with the Keels and Wheels, which will have a booth representing the city, and just a lot of good things going on, really busy, and that's about it, Mayor.
Yeah, that works. All right. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The numbers for the Police Department for the month of March 2006, 165 calls for service, 33 reports, 204 traffic stops, 53 citations, 140 warnings. We had 3 arrests. Those were all misdemeanors. 4,809 patrol miles, and our average response time was 3 minutes and 26 seconds. And just real quickly, we're planning on trying to put something formal together, but I wanted to recognize Officer Hank Hughes, who retired officially on March 31st with 42 years of service for Nassau Bay PD, 44 years total for the city. So we'll hopefully have something for Hank when we can get the dates worked out. Kind of like Chris, he's enjoying his retirement already, so we're having a hard time pinning him down. So, but I just wanted to formally recognize all his service.
Juice and cookies.
I'm sorry?
Some juice and cookies.
Yes, and just wanted to recognize his service to not only the police department, but the city as a whole. So, thank you.
Hey, Chief, just real quick, I had a number of people call me about the boating. I think it's in Cal Bayou. The things here that's kind
In
of.
Cal Bayou?
Is it?
No, Baycrest.
Baycrest,
Behind-
excuse me, Baycrest,
We're
that's
on,
right.
we're on top of that. We're
Yep.
working on it this morning, and if it's not moved by
I heard
tomorrow,
that we know who the owner is and things along that line.
they've been contacted. If it's not moved by tomorrow, we will start issuing citations.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Yep. Fire Department, Matt?
Yes, good evening all. So your volunteer fire department for the month of March ran 34 calls. We have 38 members. And hours are still not available. I know that's been a trend, but we are really still feeling the effects of the CAD switch to Motorola. We do have 2 support tickets in with the software vendor to try to get that resolved. But if not having that data is creating a work stoppage for anyone, let me know and we will work to find a workaround. But other than that, hope to have that reported to you for you soon. And then I will just mention too, Mr. Mayor, I can't say it better than you did about Betty Johnson. I joined the fire department. She was a council member at the time, but after she had already left the fire department. And she just had a way of making you feel welcome no matter who you were. She didn't know me very well. But the minute I walked in their home at a national night out, was I think the first time I actually had a conversation with them outside of city business and immediately felt welcome. So she will be extremely missed, but her impact is forever lasting on this city.
No question. I
Yeah.
agree.
That's all I have unless there's any
Thanks,
questions for me.
Yep. Any questions for Matt?
All right, thank you.
Yep. Code Enforcement, Eugene?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. These are the numbers for the month of March for code enforcement. High grass and weeds is 6, broken fence is 1, tree limbs and debris is 1, dumpster and trash is 1, no permits 1, certified letters sent out 7, warning issues are 2, 0 citations. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
EMS, Sean?
Good evening, all. EMS ran 85 calls. We transported 52 patients to the hospital. Our time to dispatch on scene is 5 minutes and 44 seconds in the city of Nassau Bay. We did 6 calls to Webster, and they came in 5 times to us. So we're pretty close. We're keeping it together. I do want to mention, he talked about the CAD earlier with the fire department. We're still having the same problems trying to get you this data every week when I send you guys the stuff through Paul. Very difficult. Everything's done by hand, a lot of this stuff, and just know that it is a struggle for us still with wrong run numbers, mismatched calls, and ghost calls, and a lot of other things that are going on with the Motorola system. So.
Is there any support that you need from all of us? I think I asked this last month, but
Well, we're working with the grid, trying to get it figured out, but there's still issues. And just so you know, it is a struggle, and we do a lot of this by hand still.
sure.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Well, we're
that's
here
the
to help
biggest
if we
part,
can.
isn't it? It's getting
Yeah.
out of the hand.
Yeah, so it's like, it's time consuming, but we try to provide the most accurate data for you guys. So, thank
And
you.
the weekends still doing well?
Oh, yeah. They're doing.
Settle down just a little bit?
Oh, yeah, it's great. We got good continuity. We got good, super experienced paramedics, high quality of care. We're a rolling ER. We're
Just-
ER on wheels.
Just for the
So-
citizens, is that we made a change in order to be able to provide actually employed EMS folks for the
Full-time.
weekends,
Right.
full-time. So that created kind of a stabilization of all the different call-outs and that, and it seems to be
Correct.
working pretty well.
It also guaranteed us the coverage during hurricanes, because a lot of these people work other places, and so we have our dedicated crew here now for Nassau Bay.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Elias? Public Works?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For Public Works, for capital improvement projects, the 2024 water line project continues. To date, 13,000 feet of line have been installed. The water tower painting project continues. For the water department, we had several water leaks repaired this month. 18036 Upper Bay, 1506 Davon, 2817 Lakeside, 2445 Baycrest, 18439 Point Lookout, and 1100 Nassau. For the wastewater department, we repaired a leak on the 10-inch sewer force main at 2045 Space Park, and a manhole behind 2703 Lighthouse was sealed to help with infiltration. The Parks Department, the crew assisted with Easter in the Park and Beautification Day. The weed removal was done at Lake Nassau. The blue planters at David Brown Park were cleaned and repainted, and the concrete pad and dock at Founders Park were pressure washed. Streets and drainage, a pothole was filled at Nassau Bay Drive in Cape Bahamas, and Pump 1 at Stormwater Lift Station E was pulled for maintenance and cleaning. And the water pump and a hydraulic hose were replaced on the bucket truck. Facilities maintenance, a leak on the roof at City Hall was patched. The parking lot at City Hall was power washed, and the handicap parking spaces were repainted. And new batteries were installed on several generators throughout the city.
Excellent. One question that I've received is particularly with the wind that we've had, and I know it's a minor thing with some of the other stuff going on, but just the wind barrier for the pickleball courts?
Oh, yeah, we'll get them up. We have them in.
That's what I thought. That's
Yeah,
what
we
I
have them
thought.
in.
So you
We'll
think
get them
it'll
up.
be something imminent to be able to get that wind, because it's even more important for the pickleball than anything
Yes,
else?
yeah, we can get it on our, list for
Thank you.
parks.
Elias, oh, sorry, that area behind, when you go to the end of Point Lookout and you take a left and you go kind of by the wastewater treatment plant, it's still, I was just walking it the other night with my daughter. It has the one light that's been altered, and it's like, I had to clap underneath it to get it to turn on. Is it just activated by motion or?
It's supposed to be motion, yes.
Okay, is there a way to keep things a little bit better lit back there and not, because that is the only light that actually works back there. And then the other one, I think you have to go all the way over the bridge and down some. My daughter was like, it kind of looks creepy back here. I was like, no, because there's only, yeah. So I don't know if there's a way to light that up a little better back there. And I noticed on the wastewater treatment plant, there was a window that was broken. And I was like, maybe somebody threw a rock, I don't know. But anyways, I was thinking maybe if it was better lit back there, we wouldn't have any issues.
Okay, I know the Parks and Rec Committee recently voted on the new fixtures. So maybe they can.
Okay, maybe they'll
they have
update
it.
But
us.
if I remember the challenges, I don't think we have power back there.
No, so it has to be solar.
So it
powered.
has to be solar, and that was a
Right.
demonstration to
Yeah.
see how well it lit and whether or not it would stay
Yeah.
back there.
It's good once it goes on, but you have to kind of do a little
You
dance
gotta do
under
a
it.
jig, huh?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. Then special events?
So, talk to special events, there's not really much, it's just 4th of July stuff, so keep an eye out for the Compass Rose, there should be some information on the parade there, and then also for veterans, keep an eye out, there will be information about getting yard signs, but that's really all we have.
All right, thanks. Parks and Recreation, Nancy?
First of all, thank you, Mayor and Council. We have Elias, we now have Robert, and Kurt.
Yeah.
We are so excited. I mean, this is such a powerful addition to our city. We have a lot of other wonderful people. We appreciate the new policeman, but this is awesome. And I'm sure Elias is happy because Robert is there. He's met with me several times. Kurt, I can't say enough good things. If he didn't know it, he researched it, and that was amazing. So we're very happy. Good job, guys. Beautification Day, it was wonderful. We had an awesome turnout. It was a little chilly, which made it great for pulling weeds and planting plants. Public Works had everything we needed. They were right there. And it was a great team effort, and our city is shining, and we've, as Parks, got a few more things up our sleeves to make it a little more pretty as we go on. Okay, the Benches, we met with Robert. He's getting the contractors out. We need to make the concrete a little wider for it and the ADA tables. We did, and I'll just kind of throw this out, request consideration between the pickleball courts and the tennis courts. There's a narrow strip there, and a lot of people go back and forth between those two. I've had quite a few parents. It's kind of funny, I go out in the park and they're like, hey, are you park lady? But anyway, a little sidewalk to connect those. We're going to have the contractors out for the concrete. As Parks Committee, we don't see any more need to have a concrete truck out there. So if we're doing that, maybe we could just put a small sidewalk to connect the two courts, because a lot of times kids are on one, adults are on the other, and they're running back and forth through the grass. We don't want the grass on the courts. Just an idea. Thank you for that. The tennis court shade covers, that's kind of interesting. It's a small job, so a lot of companies aren't interested, just to give you a quick update. It's also very narrow. I've been out there with a couple of the committee members, talking to the tennis league, to just general tennis players. They don't want they want the shade covers, especially in the middle of the day, all summer long. A lot of your children may take tennis lessons. The league comes early. There's people who play later, so they want something that'll really cover it in the middle of the day while their kids are out there, in addition to the late afternoon. Working with a couple of companies because it's very narrow, the space between the net pole and the bench is exceptionally narrow. We have a 10-foot tall fence, so we're actually kind of looking at custom, but within our budget. But it's not just something you can go out and say, hey, we'll take that one. So it's taken quite a bit of discussion and meeting with different companies. The exercise equipment, the committee is going to vote on the colors. Other than that, we've got the equipment chosen and a location. The animal park is good. There'll be a cute picture, hopefully, in the next Compass Rose of one of the dogs enjoying the new equipment. Like you mentioned, the electrical wrap boxes. I've sat at lights and watched people walk across the street from Space Center and taking pictures. So that's what we want. That's it's being enjoyed by residents and guests to the city. The astronaut art project, good news, we got approved. Well, close. We have to have the mayor look over it finally, but we're within a couple of inches of moving forward with that project.
How long has that been?
I'm sorry?
How long has that been?
Long enough for you to grow a
8
long
months?
beard if
8
you
months?
wanted. Long time. But they're excited, and we are ecstatic. The flower end caps. I have gone round and round. Again, it's an unusual situation because each end cap for Nassau Drive and Point Lookout and Upper Bay, each one's a different size. We have a lot of concrete. These companies have been very nice coming out and walking with me multiple times, so we're going to talk about that Wednesday night in our meeting. So we should have something, hopefully, to submit to each of you before long so you can discuss it for your next meeting. I'm also in discussion with a private company about maintenance for the, actually, all the medians on Nassau Bay Drive, on Point Lookout, and Upper Bay, and San Sebastian. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And if you go out there and you try to pull weeds and stuff, you know, you don't get any whistle calls because you're sweating. And it's a real challenge. So if we could find a company that would be willing to do this, I would hope we can get consideration for that. And right now I'm actually talking to a company who's interested in doing it weekly, which we kind of need that. We have very happy weeds, very determined weeds, and wonderful birds who like to make those weeds even happier and grow faster. So that's that. And I think that kind of brings us up to date. Oh, the lights. We did talk about lights just for that dark area. I think you're on, Sarah, on film for dancing out there. Just saying. Yeah, we are looking at a double light solar. It puts out more lumens. It's just double lights for that dark area. Everybody goes out there, and it needs to be safe. And we've gone years now with it not being safe. So we're gonna, we actually voted on it, and we're gonna send it to you guys. It's not inexpensive, but it's what we need. If we do that and then put single lights eventually around the rest of the solar lights, then they don't have to be as bright because a lot of those are near the big street lights. But that area is dark, and we need to be safe. And we haven't been. We're testing waters, and either that or hire Sarah on a regular basis. Just some consideration. Thank you.
I just have
Questions?
a couple of questions. So now that I have a dog, and I go to the dog park, I'm noticing a couple of things that I wanted to ask about the dog park. I was there the other day when a gentleman he had brought zip ties, and he was, I don't know if you've walked around it recently, but the bottom has kind of almost dropped away from the fencing. And so he said, oh, my dog actually stuck his head out of the fencing, and so he brought all these zip ties to make sure they were connected. Yeah. So I think that the bottom, if you look, some of the bottom of the fences around well, I'm in the larger dog park, but are kind of dropping away and just, they seem to just be kind of falling apart.
Okay, we can certainly do that.
Right, so I don't know if it's time to get new fencing or if it could be repaired. Also, there's a ton of sticker burrs. This is, minor details, but they're just sticker burrs all over the big dog park, and apparently some lady walked up to me because Ollie was covered in sticker burrs and I was picking them off, and Jim was with me when I was there. And some lady walked over and she goes, oh, they're way worse than the little dog park. So I don't know if there's like a treatment, some sort of treatment you guys can do to try to eliminate the sticker burrs, but there's a ton of them, and these dogs are like getting them all over.
And it
does get in their paws.
Right.
So anyways, again, minor details, but the fence is more of an issue than the sticker
All right,
burrs.
that's good. Thank you for letting us know.
Sure.
We are adding more benches out there. Again, I walked with Robert and the other Elias, and they were kind of fun measuring, taking pictures. But we're going to have, the benches that are there are 6 foot. So to keep everyone happy, we're going to put 2 4-foot and maybe do it something like this. Not facing each other, not just like birds sitting on a telephone line. We're going to put it, but they could all look to the center of each park. So it'll be nice. We only have a couple of families to put new plaques on, but I think they'll be very happy, especially the family that has the horrible green bench. We're going to make it, it'll look really nice, and we'll address your concerns. That's our bird sanctuary, doing those birds, so. Okay, thank you.
My last comment, you don't have to stand up for this, because I just wanted to give a little bit of history on the lights in that area, because Ilias, Paul, and others have really tried to find a economic way using some of these solar lights that we have that are around that just aren't working that well. And this was an attempt to be able to find a $150 to $500 solution, usually using what we had to be able to have solar pretty quickly there, and it kind of looks like it's not going to work. But in any event, I wanted to give you guys credit because you really tried to do something with those. The long history of these solar lights that we don't have to go into now, but it's quite a checkered past. So I appreciate you guys trying to light that up. So with that, I don't have my phone. I don't know if Brian Brown set in anything for a maritime safety. I left it in my car.
I've got something. So he emailed or texted me. Mayor and members of council, the Maritime Safety Committee will be holding an informational workshop on Saturday, May 9th, 2026 at 10 a.m. following the coffee with the mayor and city manager that morning. They'll discuss with the public topics, including the city's existing waterway ordinances, a brief NAV rules review, areas of navigational concern in Nassau Bay and the nearby waterways, and we will finish with public comments. We are working to have the meeting posted in the May Compass Rose and city social media leading up to the workshop. Members have begun surveying our existing aids to navigation to ensure the city has time to make any repairs, replacements necessary prior to the Memorial Day weekend start to our summer boating season. There is an issue with several of the no-wake buoys not remaining perfectly upright, and the lights are not lasting as long as they should be. Public Works is looking into the issue. Our next regular semi-quarterly meeting is Wednesday, May 6th, 2026 at 4 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Brian Brown.
Yeah, thank you, Chase.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is a consent agenda, and for our scout troops that are here, consent agenda is for materials that are considered routine by the city council and enacted by one motion. That means we're not going to talk about each individual one unless somebody on council decides that they want to pull something out, and then we can remove that and address that as a regular agenda. But that's what we mean by a consent agenda. So there's actually 5 different items that I'm going to have to read off, so bear with me. But we're looking at doing these all in mass rather than individually to save time. Again, these are agenda item for 8A is the consideration and possible action, the approval of the minutes of the City of Nassau Bay City Council regular meeting held on March 16th, 2026. Consideration and possible action, accept quarterly financial and investment report. C, consideration and possible action, resolution number 2025-0413-1, a resolution by the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, regarding the interim rate adjustment application of CenterPoint Energy Resources Corp., DBA CenterPoint Energy NTEX, and CenterPoint Energy Texas Gas, Texas Coast Division for the 12-month period ending December 31st, 2025. D, which is consideration and possible action, resolution number 2026-0413-2, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, adopting the annual anti-fraud policy designed to enforce controls and to aid in the prevention and detection of fraud, theft, waste, or abuse against the city. And lastly, E, consideration and possible action, resolution number R 2026-0413-3, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, adopting an annual investment policy in accordance with the Public Funds Investment Act and the Public Funds Collateral Act. Is there any modifications or edits, Chase, that you would like to see?
I did not see any, actually.
So, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as is.
And a second? Second by Sarah. So, excuse me, Haley, I apologize. Moved by Chase, seconded by Haley. Any other questions or comments? Anybody want anything pulled out? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Moving on to old business. This is consideration and possible action, resolution number 2026-0316-2. This is the second and final reading, a resolution of the City of Nassau Bay authorizing the Nassau Bay Economic Development Corporation to undertake a certain business development project, otherwise known as, can we just do this? This will be real quick, and then I'll do that. I apologize. I will do that. Yep. If you'll just take care of this one real quick, Jaime, and then we'll do it, because I think it'll be pretty quick.
All right, let me get my. So tonight will be the second reading and the approval for this EDC project. I'm just going to go over the timeline again for the $2.8 million. So tonight, again, will be the second reading and the final approval. And then April 26th, that will be the 60th day after publication of notice to undertake project. And what that means is the corporation may undertake the project after this date if there's no petition. And on May 11th, we'll have a joint meeting for the city and the corporation. At that time, the city will approve the resolution providing for the issuance of the bonds, the project and sales tax remittance agreement with the corporation, and the interlocal agreement with the corporation relating to hotel occupancy tax. And the board will do the same. The only difference there is that we'll have a performance agreement with the developer.
Yep.
And then on June 11th, we hope to have the closing and delivery of funds. Okay.
Any questions for Jaime? Then I'd like to ask for a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2026-0316-2, second, I need to say that part. A resolution of the City of Nassau Bay authorizing the Nassau Bay Economic Development Corporation to undertake a certain business development project.
Any other questions, any other comments? Or do I have a second? Second by Ashley. Any other questions or comments? Then I'd like to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. And I have to apologize to Stephanie because I did say I would move to change the agenda order. She's, rather than having her wait, this is take care of her agenda item, which is new business item 1, consideration and possible action, presentation of the independent auditor's report on compliance for major federal programs and the audited financial statements for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, prepared by Crowe LLP, and acceptance of the same by council. A representative from Crowe will present, which is, if you would introduce Stephanie.
Yes. So Mayor, Council, I'd like to introduce Stephanie Harris from Crowe LLP, the city's independent auditor. She will present the results of the annual audit for the fiscal year ended 2025.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate the bump on the agenda as well as the introduction. I've got a PowerPoint for you this evening. There's just a couple slides. I'll briefly cover the audit process, both management and auditor responsibilities, federal compliance, new GASB pronouncements, audit results, any adjustments, required communications, and conclusion. In terms of auditor responsibilities in the audit process, you've engaged us to express an opinion on the city's financial statements. The way in which that is achieved is we make a risk of material misstatement, meaning what is the risk that an error makes it all the way through the financial statements and we have issued an unmodified opinion. In order to reduce that risk, we obtain an understanding of the city's internal controls. And based on that understanding, we prioritize our procedures based on our perceived areas of greatest risk. Is typically the audit process divided into 3 processes. The first one before year end, referred to as interim type work, where we come out and obtain those understandings, do some walkthroughs, testing. Phase 2 is after fiscal year end, and the city's ready for the audit process. And thirdly, reporting or completion on the financial statements themselves. In terms of management's responsibilities, that's all right. Management is responsible for the financial statement preparation process. They're also responsible for both federal and state compliance, as well as establishing and maintaining relevant controls as adopted by City Council. There were 2 new accounting standards this year. The first one was GASB Statement 101 in reference to compensated absences. This has always been a long-term liability for the city. Previously, it was based simply upon what would be paid out based on separation, whether that was vacation, sick time, etc. Now the new standard requires not only what would be paid at separation, but what is expected to be used in the future. The next one was Statement 102, certain risk disclosures. This had no material impact to the financial statements. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements. Very pleased to say there were no corrected misstatements. We did have 2 uncorrected misstatements, or what we would refer to as a waived adjustment based on materiality. One was in relation to GASB Statement 101. There was no need to restate net position based on the dollar amount of the change. Secondly, there was one related to some prepaid expenses. In terms of other required communications, we had no difficulties with management in conducting the 2025 fiscal year audit. There were no disagreements, no consultations with other accountants, and no significant or adverse events that would require your attention at the council level. In terms of federal compliance and controls, you did require a single audit. Last year, the threshold from the federal government was $750,000. That was raised to $1 million in 2025. The city expended just over $2 million in federal grant award dollars. Based on that, we selected testing of the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, which represented approximately $878,000 for the year. And in terms of our results, very pleased to say that we issued an unmodified opinion on the city's compliance with its federal grant programs. Additionally, we have issued an unmodified opinion on the city's financial statements. In terms of just some financial highlights from the 2025 fiscal year, these first few numbers are based on the first 2 statements, which are full accrual. The intent there would to make the city comparable to a private business enterprise, or where the goal is to make a profit. You ended the year with total assets of just over $47.6 million. That was a net decrease of just over $527,000 in comparison to 2024. Percentage-wise, that represented a 1.1% reduction. You saw a decrease in current assets and an increase in your overall capital assets for 2025. Total liabilities at the end of the year were $16.2 million. Again, this is a net decrease of $55,000, less than 1% from the prior year. You saw an increase in other liabilities simply as a result of accounts payable at year-end and the timing of those transactions. You saw a net reduction in your long-term liabilities, both from principal payments on debt as well as a decrease in the net pension liability. In terms of just the overall fund level activity, again, the general fund is often looked at and evaluated in terms of one of the benchmarks of financial health. The general fund ended the year with a fund balance of just over $2.8 million. That is an increase of $1.1 million, or 64%. Over the prior year, you saw an increase in both intergovernmental grants and contributions, as well as property taxes. This total, again, the benchmark would be to have at least 25% or more, depending on council's assessment of risk, and that could be based on geographical considerations, other revenue concentrations. Here, that ending $2.8 million represented 44% of the 2025 operating expenditures, a very healthy fund balance at the end of 2025. In terms of audit findings and recommendations, very pleased to say that we had no findings at the conclusion of the 2025 audit. In conclusion, the city's financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. No material audit adjustments for errors. No findings with respect to the financial statement audit or the single audit. Management and staff were prepared for our audit and responded timely to our request. I'd like to recognize Jaime and all the others there within the finance department. They do an incredible job, not only for preparing and going through the audit process, as well as preparing and presenting financial statements, but for accounting for all of the city's financial activity throughout the year.
So we got 100.
Yes. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Stephanie? Then I believe I would like to ask for a motion. For new business item 1. To accept?
Hesitation.
Yeah, but I think this is here, we need to, correct me if I'm wrong, do we need to formally accept this? I believe we do, so I will need a motion. Yeah.
I got it. I got it. It's right here. I move to accept the annual comprehensive financial report, ACFR, for the fiscal year ended September 30, 2025, and accompanying documents, single audit report, and EDC annual financial report.
Do I hear a second? Second by Jason. Any further comments or questions? Then I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Jaime, and all the other staff. You guys did a great job.
We appreciate the opportunity to serve Nassau Bay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bear with me. Okay, moving on back to old business. Since we've done agenda item number 1, I'd like to move to agenda item number 2, which is council update and discussion regarding cameras at the peninsula entrance and an additional lake camera. Paul?
Yes, Mayor. I've passed out it's a summary for update discussion. For the scope of the project is to install or take into consideration installing a solar camera. We have no power at the southern end of the cove on the lake. Sometimes, there's reports of partying activities, loud music and all that. So get a camera, a Verkada camera, kind of like the ones that we've been installing. It's a 3-year contract, and that's for $4,761. And then also to consider installing a solar camera at the entrance of the peninsula. This is to identify any dog walkers, potential vandalism in the park or the peninsula. And that camera is also $4,761.40. We do have to purchase the SIM cards for these cameras, and so we roll that up into the 3-year cost. It's $2,106. So to install 2 cameras, solar cameras, at the entrance of the peninsula and at the southern end of the lake is $11,682.80. And that is for 3 years.
And that's just a one-time cost, that's not a per
Yes,
year?
Mayor. That's a one-time cost.
$455 of it's for 3 years, but yeah.
Yes.
There's a license included.
And then also include just kind of an overview of the map where the cameras will be installed, and then the way they're set to capture anything. So it wouldn't go into the residents' backyards, it'd just go about a little bit out into the lake.
I'm going to ask probably an obvious question. So with the SIM cards, that means these have cellular capability? In other words, we can see live what's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Is the plan to have someone monitor these? Or is there going to be alerting system? Is it going to be reactive?
So the plan is to, once there's it won't be 24-hour monitoring, but it will be recorded. So we could go back and look at anything in case there's a crime committed or somebody reports something, it would automatically go to the police department, and then they would start that case on that specific instance. But it won't be a 24-hour monitoring.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like our flock system, that it'll hold it for 30 days, and then it'll go to auto-delete because it has the, to be able to delete the information regularly, rather than hold it for long periods of time.
Tom, do you remember, I think it's 30 or 90 days of time? 30
That's what I
days.
thought, 30 days.
Yeah.
Yep, so it would take action from either in the chief's group or, team or whoever, if there are people out there, if they get identified, they could then download something from that in case they need evidence, but otherwise it would not be maintained over a period of time longer than 30 days.
Can I ask, who brought the ask to do this? Was it?
I believe
did
it
the
was
police
Sarah.
need it?
Well, I brought the ask about the peninsula. The one on the water, no, that I wasn't involved in that one. But I thought that the peninsula there used to be a camera there. There's, I don't know if it's still there, but there's a kind of giant thing with a massive hole in it, showing that there used to be something there. And actually, I messaged, I believe, Paul and Troy asking about it, and Paul said, well, that's Troy's camera, and I said, Troy, I don't see a camera, and he said, oh, yeah, I think it got blown away in a hurricane or something. Anyways, so it's been pretty much unmanned surveillance-wise for quite some time, and I think it's probably just best to have one out there because, I mean, even if we lock that gate at night, you know, there's still, I mean, we had that one guy drive over it in a fan boat, you know, it was like all over Facebook, and of course, by the time he'd done it, you know, nobody could do anything. Anyway, it is a wildlife refuge as well. So I just think it's kind of, you know, a good idea to protect the wildlife, and that is a special part of Nassau Bay, you know, that makes us different. And so I like that idea. The one on the water, that might have to do with the mayor. I don't really know.
Correct. I mean, actually, it's from the citizens on that area. I mean, if you look where most people go late at night and play very loud music, it's on that very far area where that triangle is. And I kind of call that, and we have a little funny ha-ha, it's I call it the Lover's Cove right there. So it's there really, and I think you have things to make sure people know that there's going to be a camera, because that's probably, and I really feel for the people right there in Harbor Martinique, that's where we have the most amount of abusive noise and things along that line. That way we can actually really pick up on it. And I agree with Sarah on the peninsula. I mean, we should be able to make sure we have good control over that entrance as well as this corner.
And yeah, it's very important that we make sure that Verkada respects the privacy of the people that live on that windward, and make sure that camera is directionally this one direction, only in the direction of the peninsula, and can never turn around or rotate, or it's not a 360, you know, view.
I will say a funny story is I had my neighbor on Seacourt, I won't say Sea Cove, I won't say who, but she was coming out of her hot tub and realized the first time it was there that there was a camera there, and she was like, called me up and, please tell me that that's fake. And we went there and said, yes, we made sure that Paul's been really good at making sure that we focus those on the areas that we're trying to protect, and we really protect everything from citizens. And there's even ways to fuzz things. There's all different things. They've done a really good job with that. So.
And the only people that have access to that is our police department, is that correct?
Yeah, so right now, we are, it's going to be me, Tom, Chief, and Elias, and we're working out the bugs, and I think they gave us a 30-day window to do all that with the training, and then what can the system do, and then after that, it will be the police department will have their.
Okay.
I won't have it, or Public Works, or no one else will have it.
And you even had creative ideas where looking like if we see something that there's a motion that they can pick up, it can send a message so that people can actually, you know, they don't always have to be out in the direct location, that you could actually pick up to see whether or not there's something that needs to follow up. So it can give a time-saving event to the police also. I think that's a great idea.
And for clarification, the red triangle is the span of which it can monitor.
That's the area that we'll be focused on.
But the people on this leeward lane, they're back-facing yards, meaning can that camera pick up what's happening in there?
We can adjust it actually just to the cone, however, so we'll make sure it's not in anyone's backyard.
So if you remember the demonstration, there's actually a distance that you can do where if it's past that, it blurs it.
Yeah, I recognize that. I just want to make sure we're setting up for their privacy on that windward side and the leeward lane. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that's a good idea. Yep.
All right, Anne Marie, share this with your friend.
And if you look on the Sea Cove, we'll have a camera there, and that will grab just the other way. So we'll have kind of the Nassau Bay Cove covered almost in every direction.
Yep. Any other comments for?
So you just said there's going to be one on Sea Cove going outward too?
It is. It's only outward.
It's only outward, yes.
I know, we're talking down here, where the peninsula entrance, again, I don't want to invade anyone's privacy, but I would think that you'd also want one if you're at the entrance to the peninsula looking towards David Braun Park, just like down, or, you know, again, not invading on anyone's privacy, but kind of going both ways. So if someone's
We already do.
coming through the gate or, on both sides.
David Braun?
David Braun, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Like she's saying.
To the peninsula, but then also
Point it
down
the
the
other way.
sidewalk if someone's entering
Yeah,
into
and,
the
and these
peninsula.
cameras, since we have no power, the Public Works will be installing the pole, so we'll actually mount it, and then we can actually face it back toward the gate, maybe right up to the edge of the street, or we could face it the other way. So we could play with it a little bit and see what's best
Yeah.
to make sure we're not invading on anyone's
just
privacy.
the span of the angle.
Yep.
Just to be able to do it.
Mhm.
Yep. Any other questions, any other comments?
Yeah, so what are we doing tonight? Are we agreeing?
This is just an update. He
Just
just
an
wanted to make
update,
sure
yes.
he's meeting the things here, because because this is actually in his authority to do, and he's just getting, I think you're
Yeah,
getting consensus.
and like I said, right now, we're working out the bugs, we're making sure everything is good, so next month I'll have a lot better update on that.
So
We
probably
make sure we're
complete
comfortable.
the camera project.
Yes, Mayor. Yes, Mayor.
So we have enough budget available for this?
We'd have to look, coming out of reserves.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Any other comments for Paul? Then I'm going to move on to the next agenda item, which is council update regarding boards and commissions, terms of office, and the appointment process for the troops as well as for the citizens. Last year, we made a modification, pretty significant modification to how we seat the members of the whole range of committees that we have, and we basically aligned it with the election process, so that we start in this time period in April by beginning the transparency and giving the visibility that these seats are going to come available. And then after the election, with the new council sit, we look at the candidates that have submitted a formal application that for each one of these committees. The committees are basically staggered, just like council, where there is an even and odd calendar year for depending on the number of people on the committees, and we manage it that way so that we can do it all at once. Whereas before, we were driving our city secretary absolutely bonkers because we had to do it basically every month, if not sometimes twice, 2 committees per month, in order to have everything set up for that. So we wanted to do it in one fell swoop. And with that, I'll just turn it over to you, Maria, because you've got the new rules to the game that we've all agreed to. And I wanted to make sure this has the transparency and the visibility so that we're all aware of what's going to transpire.
Yes, Mayor. So, as you said, this item provides an update on improvements and seeks council feedback and confirmation of direction regarding the reapplication requirement for each member with expiring terms. Attached in your packet is a list of all the upcoming expiring board and commission positions by board and term expiration date, which makes it a lot easier to just look at, and it's all 2026 board members expiring in 2026, and then we will have a whole new section for 2027. It just keeps it very clean. And so at this time, really, it's for council to receive the update and provide feedback and direction to staff, including the confirmation of the reapplication requirements for members with expiring terms, so that we're on the same page.
And if I remember correctly, the piece that I want to make sure is we kind of had a little bit of lax last time, but we want to have a formal written submission for a candidate for a position.
Correct.
It will not be any more verbal. We did a little bit of things there based off the miscommunication, but we've given full notice, and it means that there has to be a written application.
Correct. And I have also mailed out letters to each one of the members with expiring terms,
reminding them of their process and letting them know that they are required to fill out a new application to be considered for reappointment.
Just want to
With
make
that-
sure I heard Phil correctly. People only have to submit applications if their term is expiring.
Correct.
Not
And they-
just if they're sitting on the committee.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
If they're expiring in 2026 and would like to continue to serve and be considered for reappointment.
And for our troops, just to build a little bit on what Councilman Johnson Bryan mentioned, was we actually have half these committees that their terms expire on even years and half on odd years. That way, you don't have the full committee having to be replaced, so you have continuity between the things. That's why it's over multiple years, so that you can have people who are involved and you don't have to start from scratch each time. So it's half of the committee gets replaced or puts their candidacy. A lot of incumbents come back, but that's the purpose for it. That's the reason for it. Okay.
And then
Any other-
I assume if people don't reapply, then we advertise for, well, I mean, we should, some terms will be limited, right? And then.
They are.
And then we'll put out something saying we're seeking, citizens to join this,
We've
for
already
citizen-led
started.
community.
If you saw in the
Yes.
Compass Rose, we've
Yes.
started, and it's going to be that way all the way up until we do our selection process in July.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
That's correct.
right? So, that's right.
And so for those of us who have positions by virtue of our council position, that doesn't really roll the same way.
Yeah, we actually said we wanted to be consistent for everybody, so if you're on council, and I think the mayor is the only one that gets the bye, because some of the bylaws are that the mayor has to be in the things here, but if you take the EDC or the RDA, those positions that are held by council people are by the discretion of council. So you need to, if you want to maintain your position, you apply. And one of the things we said, and again, I want to, make this, is we said we'd give deference to incumbency. So, if I just say on council, if you're on council and you're in the position and you want to maintain that, that's your right to choose. And we said we wanted to give leeway to the folks who wanted to continue as incumbent unless there's an issue. So, I mean, we can do anything we want, but that's kind of what we said.
Yeah, I can see an issue with a couple on here right now, but that's not for council, but for citizen-led things.
Yeah, so, okay. Okay. Any other question, any other input that you wanted for that, Maria? Any other questions?
No.
Because I really want this to be transparent, and it was really a way to do two things, is one, to offload the city secretary from having to do the constant work and update on this and communication. And then the other is that we would do it in one fell swoop to allow for, replacement after an election, to allow for any participation as the elections go. Okay.
I would just like a confirmation or consensus that, from council, that's what we're going to do.
Did you hear that?
That's what we're going to do.
Are we let me say it, does anybody take objection to that? To say it differently? How's that, Maria?
Do you want me to make a motion or something? I can make something up.
I don't think we can, because it's not it's
Okay.
just, you get a sense of council.
Yes.
Right? And there's your sense of council.
Thank you.
I think you've got it. Okay?
I think making them do the paper trail thing is easier on you, right? I mean, it's easier to have a physical copy of an application so you actually know someone's interested.
Yep. It takes the ambiguity out of it, too.
If you really want to be on a board, I think it's important to fill out the application, because it doesn't. It's part of the steps. Eliminates the confusion, yes. And then they also have to go through the process, outline the oath of
And
office.
I'll just call a spade, is we had some things where people thought they could communicate verbally. Some people thought it was there, and I don't think we want to be in a situation, well, this person said this to whom or whatever. I think it needs to be written, and it needs to be done, and, that's just the rules of the game.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then I'm going to move on. We already did new business item number 1, so we're going to move on to new business item number 2. Consideration and possible action, designation of a representative and the alternate to the Houston Galveston Area Council General Assembly for the 2026 term. For those here, the HGAC is a regional body that provides representation so that there could be coordination on regional issues, regional updates. So it's a two-way where there's information provided as well as coordination in case a economies of scale for regional alignment of issues can take place.
Yeah, and I was looking at this a little bit more because I'm familiar with them due to the cooperative purchasing program they have. And I also did my, when I got elected the first time, the newly elected officials through them. But in researching it more, I was actually pretty interested in some of the things they have going on. There's a lot of grants, not necessarily with some of the things that we've been talking about here, the things that I don't think we're hearing enough about. And then also looking at, they have a HGAC funding development program, and as a city of less than $55,000, we would be eligible to participate in that program as well, and we've not done that. So looking at this, I personally want to throw my name in the hat and try to align some of the things, some of our shovel-ready proposals that we've been talking about with the infrastructure of Nassau Bay, and see how we can find alignment between.
There's grants associated with this, too.
The grants they have and their funding development program to help us identify and even write grants. It sounds like they could provide a lot of connection for some of the things that we were trying to do that kind of got dropped at the start of 2025 at the federal level, but I do see some connections there.
And just a little history here. Ashley Graves was our representative, then James Abbey, and then we've had a gap. So, from that standpoint, I agree with what you're saying. We really have not been receiving or been participating in that. So it's a gap we should fill.
Yeah, so I'm personally interested, just because of that and what opportunities might be there for our infrastructure and stormwater mitigation.
Yeah, I would also say that it was unfortunate to hear that we haven't had a voice on that council in quite some time, apparently. So it seems like Lucy's very excited about it. So I would put my name in the hat for a alternate position if that was possible.
I've actually attended one of these as a council member. I went to the one that they had at the Space Center when I was first elected. So they're super cool. And Lucy, you go for it.
Yeah.
I don't need more things to attend.
That's what I was thinking. I can't either. So I don't know if anybody else is interested, but Lucy and Chase seem to be up for it. Because what's the thought here? If so, I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to designate Lucy Summers as our representative and Chase Waterwall as our alternate to the Houston Galveston Area Council General Assembly for the 2026 term.
Can I ask if this is really necessary? Because, do you actually have to designate a representative? Because I thought you could just go in your capacity as a council member. I've certainly been receiving invitations.
You certainly can, but they actually have voting rights for things.
Okay,
So,
yeah, because there was no
there's-
voting when I went to the
absolutely,
thing.
And they want a designated, and they want to see that person's been designated.
But any of us could go in addition
Absolutely.
to Lucy and to any given evening.
Correct.
Like if there was something nearby we wanted to attend.
Just like with TML, you can attend, everyone's invited, but to vote, it is our representative, and if the
Okay, so we're
representative's
we're-
not there, the alternate.
We're voting for the voter.
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that was a really cool thing, because you actually get to have a lot of community and speak with other mayors from local areas. Like I think I
Correct.
met the mayor of Seabrook and the mayor of Taylor Lake Village and things like that, or El Lago, I guess. Yeah, so I met a lot of other council members as well. So nice
With
people.
like
to
the
meet.
Ike Dike and stuff like that.
Yes.
All sorts of stuff has had some roots in this organization.
Yes, okay.
So then I have a motion and a second by Sarah. Haley, what did I see? Wait a minute.
Sarah's arm is out.
Ashley, you did the motion? And Haley did it, so.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you're just, yeah. All those in favor?
Ready to go.
7-0. You've got your representatives, Maria.
Thank you, guys.
And then moving on to number 3, which is council update and discussion on the acquisition and implementation of a police unmanned aircraft system program, otherwise known as a potential drone.
I got nothing. No, Mayor and Council, I got nothing. I have very little, because Paul brought this to me 2.5 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was at the Police Chiefs Conference, Texas Police Chiefs Conference, met with a lot of the vendors that are utilizing the unmanned systems for the drones. And since that time, been setting up demos and some Zoom meetings and things. I will tell you that we are looking at, there's about 4 different vendors, Skydio, Brink, Flock does have a system, we're looking at that, Skydio, Brink, and the other one, Palladian, are probably some of the biggest 4 that we're looking at. So we're going to be meeting, I'm going to be meeting with some of them by Zoom. We've already had one demonstration. We're working with Webster because we're looking at the DFR, with just drones as first responders, which is the pod or the nest or the docking station, whatever you want to call it, that's mounted on a building in the city. It's linked up to our reporting and our CAD systems. So if there's a call that needs eyes on it before we can get an officer there, or before we can get the fire department there, the drone can be activated and will fly to that area because it's all geo-fenced and everything. So we're working with Webster because the initial pilots for that would be the dispatchers in the communications center over there. So we are looking at with Webster. So that kind of puts us in a position where we may, we're going to have to agree on with Webster on looking at this. But the initial one of the issues is flying a drone. Somebody has to be a licensed pilot through the FAA, a licensed 107 pilot. Whoever's flying that drone, it's very much like having a K-9. You have one officer who's a pilot. He's only here for 40 hours. So we may have to look at multiple people to be able to send them off to school for trainings. Those are costs that we're going to have to look at. I do know that the DFR drones, we're probably looking in the range of $75,000 to $90,000. So there's I've got multiple meetings and Zoom meetings and demos set up between now and the beginning of the month. Hopefully, we can get all that information, have it ready for the next council meeting. It's going to be pretty tight because I'm going on vacation the week right before the meeting.
Drone school?
I'm sorry?
Drone school?
No, not drone school. Unless they have drone school in the Sphere out in Las Vegas, no, I don't think so. But they do have. So I know one of the drone companies they've booked me on the 29th. So I mean, we're right up to the deadline there.
My
Yes.
question is for the city attorney. Any constitutionality issues here? Because I teach literally 2 cases that embrace this exact situation. I mean, do you have any nearby cities that have purchased a drone and are implementing a program like that?
I don't think we have anybody, do we?
Webster has a drone program. They don't have the DFR, the drone as a first responder. So a lot of the drones, the unmanned systems that are deployed like out of the vehicle are being used for crime scene mapping, overhead of fatality crashes, things like that. But all of these companies have been working throughout the country, and they have policies and that'll come with the package that we can adapt to the cities. So so they have legal representation already. So that'll be part of the discussions that we have with them and getting those policies and the legalities.
Yeah, because I know an officer can fly a plane in navigable airspace over your backyard, and if they observe something, they can do that without, we have case law on that, but but they're not allowed to use technology that's not in common use, right? So I'm like wondering if these drones are, so anyways, I think there could be some issues there. So especially about if you were to fly it over someone's property.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Chief or Paul?
Thank you.
Okay, then I'm going to have us move into executive session. The city council will now hold a closed executive meeting pursuant to the provision of Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in it, which is item 1, section 551.074, personnel matters regarding the appointment and the reappointment and the annual review of the city manager. Section 551.071, Texas Government Code, consultation with city attorney to discuss legal matters regarding pending or contemplated litigation pertaining to Microtel, and Section 551.087, Texas Government Code, to deliberate regarding economic development negotiations. The time is 8:38. Session. It is 9:20. Do I hear a motion?
I would like to make a motion to authorize the mayor to execute an employment agreement between the city manager with the city of Nassau Bay with corrections that we have noted for the purpose of hiring Paul Lopez as our permanent city manager.
Do I hear a second? Second by Chase. Any further comment? Any further questions?
It's about time.
Then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. All right? Done.
Who's second?
I seconded it.
No, it's Chase. It was,
And now I'm going to move to adjourn.
It was Sarah.
yes. Moved to adjourn, seconded by Haley. All those in favor? Passes 7-0.
Good job.